Oh, no music. We just shut it down. I see. Oh, I got it. All right. Welcome to Wednesday night. We are glad that you're here. This is our fall kickoff. We are excited. Will Fuller is going to be our main event tonight. He's going to share stories of his life. It's going to be great. We're very excited about it. All right. Here's what I want you to do. You should be getting a pen or pens at some point. Kate's pointing at Logan. You good? Oh, okay. I need you to look at the information packet sheet thing. What you need to do is you need to fill that out, like as much as you can. I know some of you, like in high school, don't know your address yet. Please just do your best. If you need a pen, raise your hand, find one. It's going to be great. First name, last name. The reason why we do this is so that you can know what's going on, so we know how to contact you, all that stuff. If you're thinking like, I'm in high school, I don't need this. A lot of you students, all I've got is like a random iCloud email account from when you were in 6th grade. So please update it. That would be great. Write as much as you can. Please write legibly. That means with good handwriting. Raise your hand if you think that you have the worst handwriting in the room. Oh. We'll have a handwriting competition soon. I don't know what that'll look like. We'll have a sentence and we'll all write it and see whose is the worst. How many people know how to write in cursive? Wow. That's not a lot. I'm not asking if you need to. I was just asking if you knew how. Jenna, is the sheet 2 pages or just 1 page? Hey, listen to Jenna. The most responsible person at the table, which may or may not be somebody. As much as humanly possible. That's super helpful. Otherwise, you'll get an awkward phone call from Megan, and she'll make it super weird. Does it say Facebook? That's awesome. Raise your hand if you have a Twitter account. Anybody? Look at you go. Okay. I haven't looked at my Twitter account, I think, since high school. This is great. I'm so excited. This is really bringing the energy. I'm really happy about this. Does it ask for middle names? Oh, good. You get bonus points if you write your middle name down. You get extra bonus points if you write Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. Hopefully there's no Mrs. in here. Misses? Misres. Megan, do you think we're going to have to get an address change with this whole Gluckstadt thing? Are we going to live in Gluckstadt, Mississippi? Are we going to stick with Madison or Canton? That's so much better. You know how long it takes me to learn an address? I hope somebody's writing lots of things down for what you like to do in your free time or special gifts or abilities. If anybody can make either their nose like wiggle or their ears wiggle, then you need to write that down for special gifts or abilities. That's super helpful. We'll use that. All right, if you're finished, raise your hand or give like an ear tug and Miss Jenna will pick it up. Gracias. Once you finish, raise your hand. Make it obvious. I see you, Hitesh. Gracias. Why is Maze the first one done? What are we doing? Oh, good. We'll use that. Gracias. De nada. Perfect. Perfect. Muy bien. Perfect. Thank you. All right, while you're wrapping up, we're going to go ahead and move into announcements. We have a lot of announcements that we've got to walk through, that we've got to cover for today. Matt, can I be seen behind the table, or do I need to be in front of the table? Yes? But am I good in front of the table? What if I want to do like a walk? I should have been in like Junior Miss. I would have crushed that thing. It would have been great. All right, what's my announcement? We are streaming right now. If you do not know, there's a big fat camera back there. We stream all of our things. If you have friends that want to know what we do on Wednesday nights, if you ever are not here because of sickness or you didn't feel like coming, you can look at it on YouTube. It's on the Ridgecrest Baptist Church YouTube account. It's very great. You can make comments. You can like it. You can do all kinds of things. Is there anything else they can do with it? You can watch it. That's an option. Perfect. Next, student-parent meeting. We haven't had one of these since I've been here, I don't think. This is a good old-fashioned parent meeting where on August 28th, that's a Sunday, it'll be right after church in the gym. We are going to go over everything for the year. We've had some new things that we're doing this year. Also, we're trying to give out as much information as we can about what we're doing, when we're doing it, why we're doing it, all of those things. It is a parent meeting. Everyone's invited. I know it's right after church. If you guys want to know what's going on, feel free to come. There will be food, so be looking at the group me, or tell your parents to be looking at the group me. We'll do an RSVP for food, and we'll do all that stuff. It'll be great. It's August 20. I wasn't finished. I have to recap, conclude, really just seal the deal. It's August 28th. It's in the gym after the service. I can read that. That's awesome. It's after service, and it's going to be great. What food should we get? Emmy, any preference on food? Wendy's? No? Staring at me? That's fine. We could do a peanut butter jelly sandwich bar. We could no to that. We could just order 75 P5s from El Ranchito. Just bring it in. We'll work on it. We'll take all advice under advisement, or all comments under advisement. Next, family dinners. We are doing family dinners again this semester. If you don't, woo, I got a little excited. If you don't know what family dinners are, we imagine kind of what we're doing right now, except there's going to be 4 or 5 just super long tables where we'll have all kinds of food. Everyone is invited. You can invite friends. You can invite family. If there's people that are like a little iffy on church or Jesus, this is a great thing for you to invite them to, because we don't do Bible study. We don't do worship. We don't make people stand up and introduce themselves. We don't do any of that. It's super chill. You just show up, you eat food, you hang out. I think it's one of the best things that we do. This semester, our options are going to be, or not options, is what we're doing. The themes are Chinese food on September 14th. We'll have some egg rolls. We'll have all the things. And then November 16th, we'll do our Thanksgiving dinner again. So we'll do the full spread like we did last year. Turkey, dressing, all the things. It's going to be great. I'm still trying to wrap my head around Chinese food for like 120 people. We're going to have to, it's going to be a lot of egg rolls. We'll work on that. But I committed to it. I wrote it down. I'm pushing it out. We're having Chinese food on September the 14th. So if you're a person to write stuff down, that's a Wednesday to come to. Family dinners, it's free. It's in the chapel, 6 to 7:30. It's going to be great. Any more slides? Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're changing up Wednesday nights. As you can tell, it looks a little bit different. That's another thing that we're changing. We're not really changing. We've already changed it. We're just adding to it. For Sunday morning, what we're doing is we're doing equipping classes. If you're not sure what an equipping class is, but you've been to the Stacy O'Neill class, It's that. It's not going to change. That's what it's going to look like. So we're going to have two options. One is going to be the continuation of the O'Neill class in the choir room. I called it Essentials. I probably should have asked her what she wanted to title it. I didn't do that. It's just going through the Bible. It's like a survey if you're being fancy. That's what that'll be. What I am doing, and me and Megan are leading, will be in room 308, which is over in the education building. It's up 3 flights of stairs. Royals, find the table where your name is at. I assume you're going to be where Steve and them are. Yes, over there. So what we're thinking about this equipping class and stuff is, we want to give you options for Sunday morning. We want to give you a place where maybe if you're not serving on a certain place, or if you just want a place to land, or you want some extra teaching and Bible study, we want to give you an option for that. So it's Sunday at 9 a.m. The Essentials class is the Stacey O'Neill class. What they're doing is they're walking through the Bible in a year. And so they've been doing it since January. They're making their way through. It's a really good class. They're doing a great job. What I'm going to start doing and what the LZs are going to start doing is all the way up in room 308, we're doing something called Faith and Formations. I think it says faiths, but we're just doing faith and formation. What that's going to be, the way that I want you to kind of think about this, both classes are going to be great. You are highly encouraged to go to either or both classes as well as serving. What I am and what we are looking at the Faith and Formation class to be is to be a step up and a step out of intentionality, of depth, and of really trying to see what it means to follow after Jesus. So I'm not so, gullible? Naive, that's the word. To think that everyone in here just has a great faith walk, that everyone just is following after Jesus, that they would do anything and everything for him. I think we're all along the different paths. If you're a person where you're still trying to figure things out, or you've got some questions about this whole Jesus thing or faith thing or Bible thing, the Essentials class is going to be a great spot for you. If you're someone who is in that class or you're not in that class, but you really want to see what it looks like to follow Jesus and take it to the next level, if you want to see what it looks like to really strive after Jesus, to really do the things that it's going to take your faith to the next level, that's what the Faith and Formations class is going to be. It is not going to be easy, and by easy, what I mean is there will be things expected of you. You will be asked to do some things, like read books, like have discussion, like talk about things. You'll be asked to participate in some challenges and really put yourself out there. That's why this is for people who really just want to take their stuff to the next level, who really want to say, maybe you feel good about where you're at in your walk, but you kind of don't know how to get to the next level, or maybe you think, I've kind of got this Christianity thing figured out. If that's you, come to the Faith and Formations class. We're going to push you. We're going to give you the tools that you need to really, really walk closely with Jesus. So I'm really excited about it. And there's going to be some more things that kind of come out of that in the weeks to come. So if you want to try it out, that's going to be in room 308. That's all the way down near where my office is, up on the 3rd floor. So it's going to be great. Megan, any other comments, concerns? No concerns. That's new. All right, last announcement. We do not have a slide for it. If you have not met Tucker, Tucker is going to be our intern for the semester. So Tucker, you'll hear him in just a minute. I'll come and make him introduce himself in just a second. But he is from Rankin County. He's going to Mississippi College in the fall. He's going to be with us for the semester because in the spring, he's going to spend 3 months in Africa doing a prolonged mission trip. Tucker he's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. If you want to meet Tucker, just go talk to him and meet him. However, this Sunday after church, me and Megan and some other people are going to take Tucker to lunch. I haven't decided exactly where we're going to take him yet, but everyone is invited. So I'll put it on the group me with all the information, but this Sunday after church, if you want to kind of come hang out with me or Megan or Tucker and just kind of meet Tucker or just hang out and talk to your friends while we're at someplace, we'll put all that on group me. That'll be this Sunday after church. We'll go eat lunch together. Sound good? Jenna, where's Jenna? Any other announcements I can think of that you can think of? I've done everything that I can think of. Anything else? Matt, anything? If you don't know Matt, this is Matt Little. He's been serving with us forever. I don't think he's messed up yet today, so it's been a good kickoff so far. Oh, you did mess something up. It'll be fine. Jenna and Tucker, will y'all go get the ice cream out of the kitchen? Perfect. All right. So we're getting started with our first game. If you haven't noticed, right now there's nothing back here music-wise except for the drum set. We are taking a hiatus from worship right now. We're waiting until we can find some new worship leaders. Nothing bad happened or anything crazy. We're just in a change of season. Steve, we may call you up here just to do 30 minutes of drum solos one Wednesday, so you can just prepare yourself. Prep a show. Until then, what we're going to do tonight is we are going to play a couple of extra games, and then we'll get into the message. And then after the message, around 7 p.m., we'll start to do small groups. So make sure, while they're getting the ice cream and stuff set up for our ice cream eating contest, make sure you know everyone around your circle at your table. These are going to be the people in your small group. So make sure you know them. Ask them what their middle name is. Ask them if they're left-footed or right-footed. If they're regular or goofy. Yeah, just do like da, 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 da.
We can switch them up or...
It doesn't matter. Just make sure they're all not like 1, 2, 3. Make sure they're somewhat mixed, but... That's fine. Let's put these, that way the ends can go off the side. No. Just these two can do that. All right, I think we figured out who we're talking to. Our first game of the new school year is a game that we started last semester. It's a game that has captured the hearts of everybody except for Molly. She didn't enjoy it very much. It is an ice cream eating contest. But the trick, the thing that's different about this ice cream eating contest is you have to eat it without using your hands. So hands behind your back, just bend over, start getting after it. So I need 6 people who think they're the best ice cream eaters on the planet. Put your hands down, I didn't catch it. All right, ready? Up. Ethan, Will, Logan, Kenzie. How many? Y'all come to the stage if I call your name. Ethan, Kenzie, Will. Kenzie, go. Is that 4? Lucy. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I need a girl. Maggie, you want to do it? All right. Do not unmask your ice cream. If you don't want to do it, Maggie, you can do it. We got the Fullers up here, ready to go. All right, pick your ice cream. Don't touch it, just get near it. Oh, Maggie is not here to play. Don't touch it, don't uncover it. Last minute changes. Will, don't touch it. Be easy. Here. Yeah, we can spread out if we need to. Don't peek. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
When I say go.
We have to knock it off of their face?
Yeah, you have to knock the top of it off. And then you have to eat the ice cream as fast as you humanly can. What we'll do is everyone needs to be watching. Everyone needs to take a very close look at their facial expressions. I need everyone to make sure and judge to see who does this the fast to make sure no one's cheating. So, is everyone ready? Is everyone good with their spots? Logan, you're fine. All right. Let's get some hype game music to get played. So we had 2 flavors on the menu today. We had cookies and cream out of the one. Who had the cookies and cream? Ethan, Will, and Kinsey. And then the other flavor, Logan, what do you think the flavor was?
I think it was like mayonnaise.
It sure was. Frozen mayonnaise. Logan, Lucy, and Maggie had that. Logan ate most of his.
It was good.
Do you like mayonnaise? Lucy, how'd you do on yours? Not good? How'd you like yours? Good? Maggie, I thought Maggie was going to murder me for a second. That was a great job. All right, if you ate the mayonnaise flavored one, great job. There will be a Chick-fil-A gift card waiting for you soon. We didn't get it. I totally forgot to tell you. We'll get it to him later.
That was nasty, bro.
3, because there were 3 mayo ones. All right, everybody give them a big hand, especially the ones who had the cookies and cream. It was great, fantastic. All right. Oh, I messed that one up. All right. Tucker, do you have a microphone? Maggie, are you so happy you didn't go? Because you could have had mayonnaise. Do you like mayonnaise? Yeah, a little bit? I don't like it at all. So we'll continue ice cream eating contest as we go. Very excited about it. That was Duke's mayonnaise, by the way. That was name brand. That wasn't no like Hellman's stuff. All right. We need to freeze like Miracle Whip. I want to know like what Miracle Whip does. We had at my last church, in my last student group, I've told this story before. We had a girl who was in there whose family, you know how like you put condiments and stuff like in the middle of your table? The only condiment they put for every single meal was a Sam's Club jar of mayonnaise. And they would put mayonnaise on literally everything. Like name a food, they put mayonnaise on it. Pizza, like gumbo, everything. They just dolloped it. All right, Tuck, you got a microphone? You ready to go? Perfect. All right, so this is Tucker. We'll take a few minutes to introduce him, and then Tucker is going to lead out in the second game. Tucker, first off, the question we always ask everybody, what is your middle name? Or if you use your middle name, what is your first name?
Well, my middle name is actually Tucker.
So what's your first name?
It's a name that I may not want people to call me.
Well,
so.
that ship has sailed. You just ruined it.
My first name is Terry. Laugh it up.
Terry's not even a bad name.
No, it's bad.
Your name could be like Winston or like Susan. It could be a lot of names. Oh, that's fun. All right, listen. Tucker, take a few seconds or minutes or maybe not hours, a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're doing, long walks on the beach, all that kind of stuff.
Well, first off, I'm Tucker. I'm obviously interning here at Ridgecrest for the semester. I'm actually going to go in the spring to Zambia, Africa for 3 months. I'm going to move and evangelize and do some mission work down there. So, a little backstory on me. I am a junior in college, about to be, starting this fall, actually. But I am very athletic. I used to play college baseball at a junior college for 2 years and ended up quitting, going into ministry. So I'm trying to figure out what really God has planned for me. So I picked up a job here. Logan was fortunate enough to give me a job here. Thank you, Logan. But yeah, I enjoy surfing. Whenever I'm at the beach, I have my own surfboard and I take good care of it, and it's fun. I enjoy the ocean, all that stuff. So if I keep rambling about it, I'm not going to stop talking. So,
are you a cat person or a dog person?
Very a dog person.
Oh, are you just so much of a dog person that you're not a cat person, or do you hate cats with a passion?
I have love for both, but
nice.
I would prefer dogs.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
When you put your socks and shoes on, do you go sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
So I do a sock, shoe.
What?
Yeah.
That did not come out in the application.
Yeah.
We have a lot of questions. We're going to talk about that in your small group. I have to come up with another one now because he's a sock shoe person. Okay. Do you do cereal milk or
I'm
milk?
not about to answer that.
Tucker! Guys. Yeah.
I'm a very weird person.
Toilet paper over or?
Oh, definitely the bottom.
What?
Is that a bad thing?
I've never met anyone who's 3 for 3. That's incredible.
That's a strikeout in baseball.
You're like a unicorn of weirdness. That's awesome. Oh, that's a classic. How do you make a peanut butter and jelly?
I open them, do one side, and push.
Oh.
No, I put on one side and I make it.
You put jelly on top of the peanut butter?
I do peanut butter on one bun, jelly on one bun, and I smush it.
You eat a peanut butter and jelly with a bun?
Not a bun, it's a piece of bread.
Okay, just checking. I didn't know.
Well,
You were 3 for 3 on the weird scale. I don't know if you eat with buns. Who knows?
No, I don't put peanut butter and jelly on both buns or bread.
Interesting.
Bread.
Hey, yes it is though. He said he didn't want to answer that because we already know the answer to it.
Milk and cereal.
All right, so we're going to pray for Tucker later, but before that, Tucker is going to lead us in the game. Y'all give Tucker a big hand. We're excited. It's going to be great. All right, Tucker, take it away.
So, this may not be the most funnest game is doing mayonnaise and ice cream.
Hey, but, you gotta up it, like energy. Don't tell them it's a terrible game or they're not going to want to do it.
You're going to want to play.
Yes,
okay,
here we go.
So tables are gonna push together, so you guys are gonna be together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get groups of people sitting in a circle, and it sounds like monkey in the middle, but it's not. It doesn't involve any dodgeballs or anything like that. But a person's gonna be in the middle of the circle, and each one of you is gonna have like a separate movement. So like, for me, if I was playing, I'd have an ear tap. If you were playing, you'd have like a nose squeeze or something silly. I don't know, whatever you feel like doing in the game. But I played this game with my friends when I was in Africa the first time, and it was fun while we were playing it because we were probably just so deprived of sleep, we just made it fun. But, so like I said, you're gonna be in a circle, one's gonna be in the middle, and so what you're gonna do is each of you are obviously gonna have a type of movement that you do, right? So the guy in the middle is gonna be turning, trying to figure out who is it, who is trying to give away their movement, da-da-da-da. So how it works is guys doing it around, and to give away with you not being it, you have to do somebody else's movement. So let's say, Jackson, if I'm trying to give you to be it, I have to do your movement. So if your movement is nose squeeze, I have to do nose squeeze to you. And you do it back to me saying that you know what I did, so you're it now. And then you go to somebody else and try to do the same thing, while somebody's in the middle trying to figure out who's giving signs and who's doing what. It's kind of a strategy game. You got to think about it, but it's fun, I promise. Everybody's going to have fun. We're going to be laughing and smiling. So, okay. What's your name? Akash? Kesh. Tesh. Okay, sorry, I could not listen. Let me have Braves hat through the Huck hat. I need you guys over here on the stage. Everybody give a round of applause for the 4 guys coming on stage. Come sit in a circle. Tesh, come here. AJ, come on. Y'all sit in a circle. Spread out. Spread out just a little bit. All right, so your movement is going to be a nose squeeze, okay? Yours is going to be an ear, yours is doing your hat, and yours is going to flick your earlobe, I don't know. I'm in the middle, okay, like so. and you're it. So you have to try to give away, you know, you're being it. So you have to do somebody else's thing in order to not be it again. I'm over here trying to look around to figure out who's doing the movements. And if I say, are you it? You say yes, I take your spot, you come in the middle, right? So try to give your...
Still kind of confusing, but
It's very confusing, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Yeah, simple as possible. All right, so he's the tap lobe, you are the nose, you are the hat bill thing, and you are squeezing your earlobe, okay? So try to give it away without me looking, all right? Okay. Obviously, there's going to be more people, so I'm going to be looking around a lot more. So, okay, try to... I mean, do you guys understand what I'm saying? Yes, signs. That's what it's called. Take notes, okay? You should have the microphone up here right now trying to explain it, but
Here's what we'll do. Go ahead and get in the circle. Try it out.
you guys go get in a circle.
Use.
See, in my mind, I was like, okay, when I explain this, it's going to be much more confusing if I said it to you in person. So, like...
I'm confused.
Hey, you need to be in a circle. You should be in a circle. If that doesn't work, play a rousing game of Duck, Duck, Goose.
Here. You guys get in a circle
Or
here.
talk to your friends.
Hey, you guys right there, go to that far corner back there. You guys come here. Huh? You have to, like... Okay. I'm glad you asked that. Okay. To know who's it, okay? Hey, y'all listen.
If you have a prayer request, what you can do is you can write that down. You can either write your name on it or make it anonymous. There's a manila folder. That's fine. A blank one is no big deal. You just write crooked. There's a manila folder or envelope over there that says prayer request. You can write anything you want to in there. If there is a prayer request that you would like for me and Miss Jenna and Tucker to pray for, write it down, write your name or don't write your name, put it in there. We'll pray for you this week. If there is an event or a thing coming up that you want us to know about, if you've got a badminton match or you have like a singing competition or what's another random, pole vaulting, that's not that random, pickleball. If you're a pickleball star and you have a tournament, write that down. I'm saying this more for middle schoolers and high schoolers. Please write the date, because just because you say band competition, I don't know what that means. So write it down. Of course, we shouldn't have that because we're in marching season. So anything like that, you can write that down. If you want to rate Tucker's choice of hats, you can make that scale of 1 to 10, whatever you feel like. Now everyone's looking at Terry. It'll be great. If you want to rate Tucker Terry's first name, you can do that too. It'll be great. It'll be great. All right, number one rule, starting from here on out. Please do not click the pins the entire time, because it'll kill me. Everybody get 5 good clicks in. Let's just da-da-da-da. Good. I don't want it to click. That was so much more than 5. All right, leave it in the pin writing position, and let's just chill. It'll be great, because the clicking is going to make me throw something at Rhett if we have to. And sorry, it's just that's where my line of sight is. It's just how it goes. All right. So what we are going to be walking through for the next few weeks, if you remember in the spring, we walked through a dating and relationship talk, then we took a break, and then we talked through community. It was very much like, how do we interact with the people around us, whether it's in a dating relationship, whether it's in a friendship, whether it's your family, whether it's your frenemy, whatever. A lot of what we talked about in the spring was how do we balance and deal with and grow those relationships with each other. And so going from that, we're moving into the fall. What I want to do is I want to spend a few weeks talking about how do we take the same kind of skills of working on our relationships with our boyfriend and girlfriends or with our family or with each other. How do we take those and how do we apply it to our walk in our relationship with Jesus? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the next few weeks and we're going to look at what does it look like to have a deeper walk with Jesus. We're going to explain what that means, walking with Jesus, because he's not here. It's not like long walks on the beach, or maybe it is. We're going to give some tools of what it looks like to do that. But first, what I wanted to answer or try to answer is the question of how do we do that? Why should we walk with Jesus? What does it look like to do that? It's going to be kind of an overview. So we're going to be in Mark. We're going to be in chapter 1, and we're going to get cruising. So I'm going to read verses 16 through 20. If you're using a Bible that's from here, it's the same translation. If you're using your phone or something, I'm in the ESV. So Mark 1:16 says, passing alongside the Sea of Galilee, he, meaning Jesus, saw Simon and Andrew, the brother of Simon, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, follow me, and I will make you become fishers of men. And immediately they left their nets and followed him. And going on a little farther, he saw James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, who were in their boat mending the nets. And immediately he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat and with the hired servants and followed him. So, if you have been in church for more than 5 minutes, you've probably heard this story. If you haven't, or you don't remember it, I'll give you the SparkNotes version. Jesus has just began his ministry. So he did his whole thing growing up. We don't know a lot about him. We know he was like a carpenter, construction worker kind of thing. And he decides one day, now is the time for me to start my ministry. He goes to John the Baptist and he gets baptized. The crazy thing with the dove falls down and God speaks and said, this is my son with whom I am well pleased. Crazy kind of miracle thing happens. And then Jesus kind of begins his ministry. And so right around the beginning parts of his ministry, when he's starting to bring in crowds and really become this teacher, he says, it's time for me to start getting disciples. And so disciples are one of those things that if you've grown up in the church, if you've been a Christian for a while, it's one of those words that you're like, hey, that's a church word. A disciple is just a disciple. That's what it is. What I wanted to do is take a few seconds and kind of talk about what is a disciple. If you're not so sure, if you've always just said like, disciple is the person who follows Jesus, there's a little bit more to it that I think if you kind of think about it, it adds a little bit more to it. So if you were alive when Jesus was alive in the first century, if you were Jewish, if you were around this area of Israel, specifically Galilee, this is kind of how your life would unfold. Women, sorry, your life was a little rough. You didn't have a lot of rights and all that stuff. You were just kind of waiting until you could become basically a teenager, until you could get married off to someone and make babies. That's your life. If you're a dude, life looks a little bit different. So you grow up, you're doing your thing, you're in school. It was required for males, not little boys, that sounds super weird, but young men to be in school learning things like learning about the Torah. What's the Torah? Do we know? Yep, Jewish Bible, first 4 books, all those things. You would be learning that. You would be trying to get as good a grades as you could. This is not kind of like how some of you care about your grades and want to do really well. A lot of you, maybe not so much. In Jewish culture in this time, it was paramount. The amount of honor that you could bring to your family, the status that you would have was all relevant on how smart you were and how much of the Torah you could learn about and memorize. And so if you were good enough, once you kind of got out of that schooling, you would move into this kind of next phase. Think of it sort of like college almost. And while other people are going and learning the trades of their fathers, while other ones are going and maybe being warriors or whatever, there was a select few who kind of went to next level education. And what you would do with that is you would continue to learn about the Torah. You would try to memorize as much of it as possible. Usually this level, you would memorize a book of the Torah. So think like Genesis. You would have that locked down. And I could say like, Preston, what is Genesis 38, 176? And he would be like, it's blah, 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 blah. He would have it nailed. They didn't have verses back then, but you just walk with me. So these were kind of seen as like, upper kind of, these people had it going on. They were super smart. They had things figured out. And then once you got through with that, your goal, if you were any kind of a Jewish man in this century, your goal was to hopefully attach to a rabbi. What is a rabbi? Teacher, a Jewish priest, teacher, someone who taught the Torah. Your goal in life, if you could be so awesome, this is the one who graduates first of their class, this is the valedictorian, like the smartest of the smart. They would latch on, they would like apply, they would interview with a rabbi. Jesus was not the only rabbi, there were lots of Jewish rabbis. And this rabbi would sit you down, it'd be like an oral interview thing, test, and he would see how much of the Torah do you know? How much of it have you memorized? Is that good enough? He would ask you all these questions. It was very intense. And if you were good enough, if you passed, then you would become this rabbi's disciple. And if you were a disciple, you were like, not royalty, but you were like a celebrity. It was like being a professional athlete. Just very few people got the honor of following this rabbi. And so really good rabbis, when you read this, it sounds sort of like a bad joke or a cliche. It's like, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. You're like, haha, because they're fishermen and da-da-da. Well, what that was actually meaning is if you were a really good rabbi, you're very famous rabbis who taught widely and gathered large crowds, they were called fishers of men. It was like a term. Like if you're so good at teaching and showing people who God is, you were like a fisher of men. You reeled in people. And so once again, to get to that level, you had to be not only the top 1% of the 1% to become a disciple, but then you were one of the few that was good enough to go and become an actual rabbi. And then, if you were good enough as a rabbi, you were considered that fisher of men. And so, there's no really equivalent to what that looks like today. Because, this would be like if you went all the way to get, a full PhD in something, and then went like another couple years and then became like a really famous person. That's kind of the equivalent. Nobody really got to be disciples. Nobody really got to be fishers of men. And so all the way over here, you had Simon, you had Andrew, you had James, you had John, who were fishermen. Fishermen were almost completely uneducated. They were laborers, they were tradesmen, they worked very hard. They weren't like seen as servants or slaves or anything like that, but they were just kind of lowest of the low. They didn't have a lot going for them. They fished. They threw their nets out. They picked up fish. That was what their life was going to look like, especially if their father, like Zebedee, was a fisherman. That was a life that they had to look forward to. They didn't make it to the special schooling. They didn't get interviewed by a rabbi. They didn't become a rabbi. They didn't go around and have thousands of followers. They were all the way back here. And so for them, this is where their station was. This is who they were. And then along comes this young guy, this young itinerant rabbi named Jesus. This means he traveled around teaching. He had already started to gain a lot of followers. If you look, you don't have to, but if you look over in Luke 5, it says, great crowds were following Jesus. And Jesus walks up to these dudes, these guys, who had no business being disciples, who would have never in their wildest dreams have made it to being in this top echelon of people. And Jesus says, hey, if you'll just follow me, if you'll just come and do what I do, I will teach you to become fishers of men. And so they weren't like, haha, Jesus is funny, that makes a joke, and then they went with him. What they saw was an opportunity to have their life changed forever. They saw a rabbi who had no business talking to them, who usually would not even give them a time of day, invited them all the way up to the seat of high honor, of high respect, a high position. And so when we look at this and we look at our walk with Jesus, we need to remember some things. We need to think about some things about what does it mean to actually be a disciple. Because when we think about disciple, we think of disciple. We think like, oh, a disciple is just a guy who's a Christian who reads their Bible and prays a lot, and that's it. Well, really, a disciple, as we think about it, is more like an apprentice, or it's like someone who's sitting under a teacher. And so when we look at this, what does it look like to walk with Jesus? What does it look like to be an apprentice, a disciple, a follower of Jesus? There's a couple things I want us to remember, and it's things that we can talk about in our small groups in just a second. One, walking with Jesus takes commitment. As you read later on in the Bible and in the Gospels especially, Jesus tries so very hard to keep people away from him. There's the rich young ruler. There's other people who come up and say like, hey, just let me come with you, but I've got to deal with my parents first. And he's like, this is not for you. And there's people who are like, hey, I want to follow you. And he's like, do you really? Because I'm homeless. He's like, foxes have dens, but there's nowhere for me to lay my head. There's other people who go and they're like, hey, just let me go to my parents' funeral real quick and then I'll follow you. And he's like, if that's where your priorities are, what following Jesus takes is commitment. And for us, that's so weird to think about because we've grown up in the church. The church has always been like very easy for us to get into. We tell people like, hey, just think about Jesus and believe in him and then you're good to go. You'll be in heaven and everything's fine. What we don't always say is, hey, this takes a lifelong commitment. This takes you giving everything you have to following him. Because the disciples did that. And as you read through the Gospels, the disciples gave everything. They dropped their nets. They didn't even sell their boat to someone else. They literally just left it. That would be like you, instead of like selling your car to get a new one, you just left it in the Walmart parking lot and you just went. It takes commitment. Second thing, walking with Jesus takes time. So often, especially as teenagers and young people and all the mix, we're so impatient. We're so like, hey, I've been following Jesus since I was 5. Well, really, I kind of took a break between 6 and 13, but like, it's been a while since I've been following Jesus. Like, yet I don't really feel anything, or yet like my walk with Jesus doesn't really feel like I'm getting anywhere. I don't feel a depth. I don't feel different, anything like that. One, if you're really trying to follow Jesus, if you're really trying to walk with him, you say, I want to be a disciple. I want to follow Jesus forever. I'm committed. a lot of times we don't realize is that this is something that we work on for our entire lives. It's called sanctification. It's called becoming like Jesus. It's the slow work that Jesus does, where for some reason, when you become a Christian, he doesn't just make you perfect immediately. He doesn't just make you not sin on day one. Instead, he does this really slow process of saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly work on your heart. I'm going to slowly work on your mind and your thoughts. And over the course of decades, I'm going to make you more and more like me. And so it takes time. So we need to think about what that looks like. And then lastly, walking with Jesus takes practice. Very easy metaphor for this is any sports metaphor, any musical instrument metaphor, any language metaphor. Anything that's really difficult, we have to practice it. Anything that's really important, we practice it. And so for some reason in our walk with Jesus, what we've told people is, hey, believe in Jesus, become a Christian, and then God will take care of the rest. Hey, if you really want to know about Jesus, just literally show up to a building on Sunday, and everything else will get taken care of. But yet, for those of us who know a second language, we know that it takes a ton of time and effort and repetition and practice to get there. For those of us who play a sport, even sort of kind of well, it takes repetition, it takes training, it takes drills, it takes practice. For any kind of instrument, it's working on scales, it's practicing the same 3 chords over and over again. It's repetition, it's practice. And so when you're walking with Jesus, what we're going to talk about in the next few weeks is how do we practice this walk with Jesus? How do we do the right drills? How do we build that muscle, that spiritual muscle to be close to him, to work on our walk with him? And don't hear me when I say like practice as in like you got to work your way to salvation. There's none of that. But this is if you're past that, if you already believed in Jesus, but you want that deeper relationship with him. If you see people that are like worshiping like crazy on Sunday morning, or you talk to people who know the Bible so well, they have it memorized, or there's people that just seem different, like almost uncomfortably different because they walk so closely with Jesus. If there's any part of you that wants that, these are the things that we have to work on. We have to work on our commitment. We have to be patient in the timing of our sanctification, of becoming more and more like Jesus. And we have to work on practicing it. We have to work on the drills and get the tools that it's going to take to grow closer with Jesus. So that's what we're going to talk about. So those are our 3 things: commitment, time, practice. That's how we're going to talk about walking with Jesus. Here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to close out the message portion of this, and then we're going to move into small groups. Take a look around you, kind of look and see what this is going to look like. This is what we're going to do on Wednesdays. We may not do this exact thing, meaning like tables in here. I have a feeling that once we all start talking, it may get a little loud and crazy. So for tonight, do the best you can. If it gets crazy next week, what we'll do is we'll move into classrooms or spot, or we'll find places. Leaders will find spots, so y'all know exactly where to go. But after I pray, leaders are going to take over. They're going to talk to you and lead your small groups. And then leaders know what to do. They have questions. They know what to talk. Leaders, the end time is 7:30. If we finish a few minutes before or a few minutes late, especially like if it gets done a little early, it's no big deal. Just dismiss. Just let's not go too late on that. And we'll run it from there. All right, let me pray for us, and then we'll move to small groups. God, we love you. We thank you for today. Thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you that you want a relationship with us, that you want us to talk to you, to be with you, to be honest with you. And so I pray as we move into this series talking about how do we train those muscles, how do we practice our walk with you, how do we figure out what it takes to grow closer with you and take our faith to the next level. I pray that you would show us what those things are. Show us the holes that need to be filled. Show us the weaknesses that we need to train and turn into strengths. And give us the faith and the courage to talk about those things. I pray that you would put people in our lives to help build us up, to help show us how we can grow stronger and closer to you. I pray for the boldness to speak out And I pray that this translates outside of these walls. I pray that as we go to school, as we deal with family and friends, our communities, that this would just be a time where this changes us, so that when we leave here, we're different, so that when we see our friends and our people outside of church, they see a difference in us, and that difference is you. So we love you and pray that this small group time is fruitful and good. So in your name we pray, amen.